B'siyata d'shmaya, we're going to learn Brachos Daf Yud Aleph. We're going to start on Daf Yud Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom of the Amud with the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Beis Shammai oimrim bo'erev kol odom yate v'yikre. In the evening, when a person says Kriyas Shema shel Arvis, he should lie or lean on his side when reading the Kriyas Shema. Ubaboika, and in the morning, yamoid, when he says the Kriyas Shema shel Shacharis, he should be standing when he's saying Kriyas Shema. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, b'shach b'cha uvkumecha. The pasuk that tells us to say Kriyas Shema twice a day is b'shach b'cha uvkumecha. B'shach b'cha literally means when you're lying, uvkumecha when you're standing. Says Beis Shammai, that teaches us not only the time of saying Kriyas Shema, but also the position we're supposed to be in when we say Kriyas Shema. Beis Hillel oimrim, Beis Hillel argue and say, Kol odom koire kedarkoi. Any person can say Kriyas Shema however he wants, however he is. He could be lying, he could be sitting, he could be standing. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, uvlechtecho vaderech. It says that you can even say it when you're on the way. It's not the best way of doing it. You shouldn't be saying Kriyas Shema when you're walking, but me'ikar adin, you can do it even uvlechtecho vaderech. And if you can do it baderech, on the way, then there's clearly no kpeda. You don't have to do it when you're lying or when you're standing. Imkein lomo nemar b'shach uv'shach b'chov kumecha. Beis Hillel are answering Beis Shammai's proof. You, Beis Shammai, brought proof from ub'shach b'chov kumecha that you need to be in that position of either lying or standing. We, Beis Hillel, argue with that. What do we do with those two words? B'shah shebnei adam sheichvin ub'shah shebnei adam oimdim. It's only teaching us the time to say Kriyas Shema, the time that people are sleeping and the time that people are getting up. Omer b'tarfun. Ani ayisi bo vaderech. I was on the way, v'hiteisi likreis kedivrei Beis Shammai. It was the evening time, and it came to the time of Kriyas Shema, and I lay down in order to say Kriyas Shema in accordance with the opinion of Beis Shammai. V'sikanti ba'atzmi, I endangered myself, mipnei listim, because of the robbers, the bandits. It was dangerous to just stop in the middle of the way and lie down. Omru loi, the Chachomim said to Reb Tarfon, kedei hoyisa lochuv ba'atzmecha she'ovarta al divrei Beis Hillel. If chas v'shalom something would have happened to you and you would have got killed, you would have deserved it because you went according to the opinion of Beis Shammai and didn't follow the halacha of Beis Hillel. Says the Gemara, the top of Daf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. Bishleime Beis Hillel kamefarshi tamayu v'tama de Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel also explained their own opinion, where they were coming from, and also answered the claim of Beis Shammai, who learnt it from Uvashach b'chov kumecha, and Beis Hillel explained it was talking about the time and not the position. Elo Beis Shammai, ma'itama le'omri Beis Hillel. Why did Beis Shammai not learn the pasuk of Uvashach b'chov kumecha like Beis Hillel? Says the Gemara, Omri lecha Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai will say as follows: Im keinei mekra ba'boiker u'ba'erev. If the pasuk was indeed telling us the time to say Kriyas Shema, it's the morning and the evening. So say ba'boiker or ba'erev. The fact that it says uv'shach b'chov kumecha, it's to teach us the position. Mai uv'shach b'chov kumecha b'shas shchiva mamash, u'b'shas kima mamash. That b'shach b'cha says lie, uv'kumecha says stand. Asks the Gemara Beis Shammai, hay uv'lechtecha v'derech mai ovidlei. Beis Hillel learned from the words uv'lechtecha v'derech that you can say Kriyas Shema in any position you want, even when you're on the way. Beis Shammai, who say it must be in a lying or standing position, depending on whether it's the morning or the evening, what are they doing with uv'lechtecha v'derech? Says the Gemara, hahumi boyele lekedetanya. They use this pasuk, these words, for the halacha we see in a brisa. It says in the brisa, b'shivtecha b'veisecha. The words that say b'shivtecha b'veisecha prat la'oisek b'mitzvah, they exclude somebody who is actively involved in doing a mitzvah from the chiyuv of saying Kriyas Shema. Uv'lechtecha v'derech. And the words of uv'lechtecha v'derech teach us prat lechosen. A chosen who is otherwise occupied, his mind is occupied with the mitzvah of getting married, that even though he's not physically and actively busy, like doing a mitzvah would often involve doing something, he's not doing anything, but his thoughts are otherwise sidetracked or absorbed in his mitzvah, he is also potter from saying Kriyas Shema. Says the Mikan omru, from here we learnt, hakoines es habasula potur. Only somebody that marries a girl who's never been married before, and therefore the chosn is even more anxious, and therefore his mind is occupied with his mitzvah and is not available to focus on Kriyas Shema. Vesa almona. But if somebody is marrying a woman that's been married before, and he's less concerned about doing the mitzvah of getting married, chayev, he does have to read the Kriyas Shema. My mashma. Where do you see this? Where do we see in the words of Lech Techo Baderech that a chosn is potter? Omer of Papa. Rav Papa explains, Ki derech. The words of Lech Techo Baderech means that your chiyuv of Kriyas Shema has something to do with the concept of traveling, of the derech. Ma derech rishus. In the same way as the road, traveling, is typically done rishus, it's not necessarily a mitzvah. Afkol rishus. Huadin, the chiyuv of Kriyas Shema, which is uvlech techo v'derech, is limited to people who are engaged in divrei reshus, but people who are oisek in mitzvahs and otherwise absorbed in mitzvahs, they are potter from Kriyas Shema. Asks the Gemara, Mila yoskinon de ka'ozil dvar mitzvah. The same words uvlech techo v'derech that are machayev Kriyas Shema is talking about any derech, not only a derech of reshus, even a derech of mitzvah, in which case we would have an explicit pasuk saying that even when you're on a derech for a mitzvah, you have to read Kriyas Shema. The pasuk says you have to read Kriyas Shema. Says the Gemara, no. Imkein lichtov rachmona b'sheves ubeleches. If indeed a person would be mechuyev to read Kriyas Shema, even when he's doing a mitzvah or on the way to a mitzvah, it would say b'sheves ubeleches. When you're sitting, when you're going, why my b'shiv techo uvelech techo? Why is it adding the chof at the end, which says it's your way, it's your sitting? B'sheves titcho ubeleches titcho hudu mechayves. You're only mechuyev in Kriyas Shema if you're engaged in your own needs. Hold a mitzvah, if you're busy with a mitzvah, ptiras, then you're potter. So it turns out that we learn out these halachas of oisik b'mitzvah, potter with Kriyas Shema, or a chosn who's torud b'dvar mitzvah is potter from Kriyas Shema. We learn it from the chof, not necessarily from the words baderech as we thought at the beginning of the Gemara, and the Gemara is going to discuss that shortly. Continues the Gemara, ihacha afilu koines es halmono nami. If you say that the reason that a chosn is potter from Kriyas Shema is because his thoughts are otherwise occupied with a mitzvah, and it's compared to doing a mitzvah, then what's the difference if the mitzvah that he's about to do is marrying a woman that's never been married before, or marrying an almona? Answers the Gemara, Hai torid v'hai loy torid. It's true that both of them are focusing on the mitzvah, but marrying a woman that's never been married before is his thoughts are preoccupied. They're such that there's no space in his mind to put his thoughts of the mitzvah aside and focus on Kriyas Shema. However, when marrying an almona, then his thoughts are not so preoccupied, he's not so anxious, and therefore he can put those thoughts aside and say Kriyas Shema. Asks the Gemara, Imishum tirda, if you're going to say that somebody whose thoughts are very preoccupied and he's anxious, he cannot focus on Kriyas Shema and his potter, afilu tovos vinosei bayom. Even somebody whose ship has sunk in the sea and is clearly anxious and preoccupied with his loss, nami, he should also be potter from saying Kriyas Shema. Are you going to suggest that that's the truth? That's a person who's anxious and is worrying about a ship that's sunk is potter from Kriyas Shema. Aloma omer Abba barzavda omarav. Why did we learn in a braysa? Ovil, somebody who's mourning, chayev b'chol ha-mitzvahs hamuras b'Torah. He has to do all the mitzvahs in the Torah. Chutz min ha-tfilin, besides the mitzvah of wearing tfilin, sheharei nemar behen pa'ir. Tfilin are called the pa'ir, the beauty of a person. Shenemar pe'ircha chavoish olecha. We learn it out from a pasuk that tefillin is called a pe'ir, and therefore it's inappropriate for an oval to wear tefillin. All other mitzvahs, including Kriyas Shema, he's mechuyev to say. Says the Gemara, Hosam torid tirda de mitzvah. In the case of a chosn marrying a girl who's never been married before, it's a tirda de mitzvah. He's anxious about the mitzvah he's about to do, and therefore he's excused from saying Kriyas Shema. Hacha, but in the case of the sunk ship, or in the case of an oval, there's no mitzvah to be anxious. So make sure that the anxiety is set aside and you say Kriyas Shema. Continues the Gemara. Ubeis Shammai, what does Beis Shammai do with the words Baderech? We said Beis Hillel learns from Baderech that you can say Kriyas Shema in any position. Beis Shammai, we thought he uses Baderech to say that Oisik b'mitzvah is potter from Kriyas Shema. But it became clear that the Oisik b'mitzvah potter from Kriyas Shema we learn from the Cha of B'shivtecha uvelechtecha. So what's he doing with the words Baderech? Somebody who's traveling to a mitzvah, he's not yet doing the mitzvah. Nonetheless, they're also in the brackets of Oiskim b'dvar mitzvah and are also potter from Kriyas Shema. Ubeis Hillel Omri, Memele Shema Minod Afilu Baderech Nami Kori. Because Beis Hillel's not arguing with the Brisa that says that we learn out from B'shivtecha b'visecha and from V'lechtecha Baderech that it's prat la'oisik b'mitzvah or prat la'chosen. So where is there an availability to learn that baderech means in any position? For that Beis Hillel says, you're right. Uvelechtecha baderech is to tell us that a chosen is potter. But since the words of the Pasuk, we don't need a drasha for it. The translation of Uvelechtecha baderech means that a person who's going on his own way, a dvar reshus, to the exclusion of the chosen, but he's on the way on a dvar reshus, already tells us that you can say Kriyas Shema on the way, and Memela we know that it can be in any position and does not have to be in a lying or standing position. Continues the Gemara. Tonu Rabbanon Beis Hillel Oimrim Oimdim v'koirin. A person can stand while he's saying Kriyas Shema. Yoishin v'koirin, he can sit while saying Kriyas Shema. Umotin v'koirin, he's allowed to lie when he's saying Kriyas Shema. Hoilchin baderech, he can be on the way v'koirin and read Kriyas Shema. Oisin melachton, he can even be busy doing his work v'koirin. U'maiseb Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah shahoyu mesubim b'mokim echod. Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah were together in some place, and it was evening time. V'hoya Rabbi Shmuel moita. Rabbi Shmuel was lying down. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah zakuf. And Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah happened to be upright. Kivan shegi azman Kriyas Shema, when the time of saying Kriyas Shema shel Arvis arrived, hito Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was in an upright position, he lay down. V'zokaf Rabbi Shmuel, and Rabbi Shmuel that was in a lying down position, he stood up, or he straightened up. Omalei Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah commented to Rabbi Shmuel, Yishmuel ochi, Yishmuel my brother, emshei lecha moshel. You remind me of this moshel, lemoadav adoime, moshel leechod she'oimrim lo zakinecho megudal. Imagine that you told somebody that his beard is beautiful, it's nice and it's long. Omaluhem yeh keneged hamashchisim. You're giving me a compliment, you're telling me it's nice, no problem. I'm going to go at the first opportunity to the barber, to the scissors, to the knife, and I'm going to cut off the beard. Af kach atos, so too you. Kol zman shani zakuf ato moita. All the while that I was upright, you were lying down. Achshav kshani teisi. Now that I lay down, as if to compliment you for the fact that you were lying down, you're doing the opposite. Ato zakafta. You became upright. It doesn't make sense. Omar loi ani osisi kadivri Beis Hillel. I, Rabbi Shmuel, followed the opinion of Beis Hillel, that Beis Hillel says you do not have to lie. V'ata osiso kadivri Beis Shammai. You lay down to say Kriyas Shema, you followed Beis Shammai. V'loi oid. Even more than that, it could be the Talmidim will see you, and they'll determine from you that the halacha is like Beis Shammai. Asks the Gemara, what was Rabbi Shmuel trying to impress on Rabbi Elazar by saying this added v'loi oid? Says the Gemara as follows: Are you going to tell me that Beis Hillel allow you to say Kriyas Shema even in a lying state? They're not mechayev you to do it in that position, but they allow you to. If you were lying down beforehand and the Zman of Kriyas Shema arrived and you just stayed in that position, you said Kriyas Shema, that's okay. But here, kiven de'ad hashta havisa zakuf. Till now you were upright. V'hashta moita, it came to Kriyas Shema and you lay down. Omri Shema minoka Beis Shammai svira lahu. They will say that you are ruling like Beis Shammai. Shema yiru talmidim v'yikvu alocha l'doiros. And then the talmidim will paskin for all the generations that alocha is like Beis Shammai. And that's not the case. And therefore, I Rabbi Shmuel, even though I was lying down before, I stood up, I straightened out in order to make it clear that the halacha is not like Beis Shammai. Continues the Gemara. Toni Rav Yecheskel. Also, Kedivrei Beis Shammai also. Kedivrei Beis Hillel also. If somebody wants to be machmir like Beis Shammai, in a case where Beis Shammai is the more machmir and Beis Hillel is more lenient, he's allowed to. Kedivrei Beis Hillel also. If you do like Beis Hillel, you're also yotza. Rav Yosef Omar. Also, Kedivrei Beis Shammai loy oso v'loy klum. If you're being machmir like Beis Shammai, it's as if you were not yotza bichlal, which is very interesting, because Mamele, if Beis Shammai would be makel, and you're makel like Beis Shammai, and we don't paskin like Beis Shammai, you're not yotza. But here, you're being machmir like Beis Shammai. Nonetheless, you're not yotza. Where do we have an example of this? Titnan mi shahaya roishay v'rubai b'sukkah v'shulchoni b'seich habayis. Beis Shammai poislin u Beis Hillel machshirim. Somebody whose table of his sukkah is actually just outside the sukkah, he's sitting inside the sukkah, and the table is in the house or outside the sukkah. Beis Shammai says posel, they're machmir. You might be pulled after the table, nigrar achar shulchanoi, and it'll end up that you're eating outside the sukkah. Don't do it. It's posel. Me'ikra adin, as long as you're in the sukkah, you're yotza. But Beis Shammai said, don't do that. And Beis Hillel said that it's kosher, because at the end of the day, you're in the sukkah. Omru lem Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel wanted to prove their stand against Beis Shammai. And they said, Maaseh shaholchu ziknei Beis Shammai v'ziknei Beis Hillel levakir es Rabbi Yochanan ben Hachiranis. They went to visit Rabbi Yochanan, both the Chachomim of Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Mutza'uhu shahaya roishay v'rubai b'sukkah v'shulchoni b'seich habayis. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Achiranis was sitting exactly in such a sukkah that the table was in the house. V'lo yomru lo klum. Nobody said to Rabbi Yochanan that there was a problem. Omru lehem. Beis Shammai said to Beis Hillel, Misham raya, you bringing a proof from that story? Afheim omru loy im keino yisanoyeg loy kiyamto mitzvah sukkah miyomecha. They actually did tell him that if you are makel to use such a sukkah, then you were not yotza the mitzvah sukkah miyomecha. And now coming back to our Gemara, in the same way as in the case of sukkah, that even though me'ikar adin, as long as you're in the sukkah, you're yotza. And Beis Shammai said that if you were makel and you sat in a sukkah where the table was inside, it's considered as if you're not yotza. Who had in our Gemara, if you'd said Kriyas Shema in a leaning position, and everybody agrees that you should be yotza if you say it in a leaning position. But since Beis Hillel say that you should not do it in a leaning position, as we see in the Mishnah, that Reb Tarfon was chayev misa for endangering him by being in that position, then hu hadin, if somebody was machmir like Beis Shammai and he leaned, he lay down. When saying Kriyas Shema, he's not yotza. That's how Tosfos explains Rashi in this Gemara. Continues the Gemara, Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Omar, also Kedivrei Beis Shammai, chayev misa. Not only do we not paskin like Rav Yecheskel, who says that if you do like Beis Shammai, you're yotza, and not only like Rav Yosef, who says that if you do like Beis Shammai, lo yotza, even worse than that. If you do like Beis Shammai, chayev misa. Ditnan, as we saw in our Mishnah, Omer Reb Tarfon ani ayisi bo baderech v'oteisi likrois. Reb Tarfon said that he lay down when he was traveling on the way. He endangered himself in order Kedivrei Beis Shammai to do like Beis Shammai v'sikanti be'atzmi b'pnei alistim. He endangered himself from the robbers, the bandits on the way. Had something chas v'shalom happened to you, you would have deserved to be punished because you did not follow the ruling of Beis Hillel, who said that you should not endanger yourself and you should not go out of your way to lie down. Says the Mishnah, B'shachar mevorich shtayim lefoneo. Before saying Kriyas Shema shel Shachris, we say 2 brachos, ve'achas le'achareo, and there's 1 bracha after the Shema, before Shemona Esra, u'be'erev, and in the evening, mevorich shtayim lefoneo, u'shtayim le'achareo. There are 2 brachos before Shema, and 2 brachos after Shema. Achas aruka, one of the 2 brachos after Shema but in the evening is a long one. That's the bracha of emes ve'emunah. Ve'achas ktsara, and the other one is shorter. It's called hashkivenu. Tosfos doesn't like that. Tosfos says that hashkivenu is also considered a long bracha, and says that when the Mishnah says ve'achas ktsara, it means certain times where one of the longer brachas are cut short. Continues the Mishnah, Mokim she'omru laharich einay rishoi lekatzer. Those brachas that Chazal said have to be long brachas, you're not allowed to cut them short. Lekatzer einay rishoi laharich, and the short brachas, you're not allowed to make them any longer. Lachtoim, a bracha that the Chachomim said has to have a second baruch at the end of the bracha. Einay rishoi sheloi lachtoim. You're not allowed to skip the final baruch. Sheloi lachtoim, einay rishoi lachtoim. Those brachas that only have one baruch at the beginning and not one at the end. For example, birchas haperos, birchas hamitzvos, that you don't say a second time baruch ato Hashem with a chasima, you're not allowed to add a chasima. Says the Gemara, Mai mevorich. The two brachas before Kriyas Shema Shel Shachris, which brachas are they? Omer of Yaakov, Omer of Boishia, Yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech. Now before we continue, there's a pasuk. The pasuk says, Yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech, oise shalom uvoirei ra. What do we say? We say in the beginning of the bracha, Yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech, oise shalom uvoirei es hakoil. So it's not mamish like the pasuk. So let's see the Gemara. We say Yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech. Asks the Gemara, Leima yoitzer oir uvoirei noiga. Instead of starting the bracha with the bria, the creation of darkness, why don't you speak about noiga, twilight, something a little bit brighter? Kedachsiv ka'amrinon. The Gemara says that the reason we use the term yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech is to conform with what it actually says in the pasuk, yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech. Asks the Gemara, Elo me'ata oise shalom uvoirei ra, mika amrinon kedichsiv. The hemshech of the bracha is not oise shalom uvoirei ra as it says in the pasuk. It's oise shalom uvoirei hakoil. Says the Gemara, Elo ksiv ra v'karinon hakoil. It says in the pasuk bad, that Hashem is boirei ra, He creates even badness, but we say Hashem creates everything. Lishna ma'alya, in order that it should be a more refined terminology in the bracha. Says the Gemara, Hachanami leimenoiga lishna ma'alya. Instead of saying boirei choshech, say uvoirei noiga, which is also a little bit more of a pleasant term. Elo marova k'tei lehazkir midas yoim balaylo umidas laylo bayom. The reason that we say yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech and we don't say uvoirei noiga is because we're in the morning and we want to specially mention the night. There's an hanhaga of mentioning choshech even in the day. And so too in the evening we mention the midas yoim balaylo, we say goylel oir mipnei choshech. Bishleim midas laylo bayoim. When do we mention midas laylo in the day? Kadamrinon yoitzer oir uvoirei choshech. As we just said, Elo midas yoim balaylo heicha mishkachas lo. Where do we mention the day in the brachos of Kriyas Shema Shel Arvis? Omar Abaya goylil oir mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei oir. We mention the way Hashem takes away the oir mipnei choshech to make room for the darkness. And that's why we mention the day in the brachos of the night. Continues the Gemara, V'idach maihi. What's the second bracha before Kriyas Shema Shel Shachris? Omer of Yehuda Omer Shmuel, Ahava Rabba. The bracha of Ahava Rabba, an abundance of love. V'chein oirilei Rebbe Loza, Rav Pedos, Berei Ahava Rabba. Rav Loza also told Rav Pedos, his son, that one should say the nusach, the term of Ahava Rabba. Tanina Mehochi in a Braisa also, Ein Oimrim Avas Oilam. We don't say Avas Oilam meaning eternal love, Elo Ahava Rabba meaning an abundance of love. Rabbanon Omri Avas Oilam. The Rabbanon did say Avas Oilam, not Ahava Rabba. V'chein hu Oimer v'Avas Oilam Ahavtich Alkein Meshachtich Chosed. That the pasuk uses the term of Avas Oilam and not Ahava Rabba. Continues the Gemara, Omer B'Yodam Shmuel Hishkim Lishnois. If somebody wakes up in the morning in order to learn Torah, Ad Shelo Yikaro Kriyas Shema, Tzorich Levorich. If he's learning Torah before the time that he can say Kriyas Shema, he has to say Birchas HaTorah. Misha Karo Kriyas Shema. If he's already said Kriyas Shema, he said the brachas of Kriyas Shema, including the second bracha of Ava Rabba or Avas Olam, Ein Tzorich Levorich, he does not need to now say Birchas HaTorah before learning. Shekvar Nifta Ba'ava Rabba, he's already been Yoitza Birchas HaTorah with the bracha of Ava Rabba. Continues the Gemara, Omer Rav Huna. Rav Huna holds Lemikra Tzorich Levorich. When you're learning Psukim, you have to say Birchas HaTorah. Ulemedrash, but when you're learning Midrashim, Ein Tzorich Levorich. Rebbe Loza Omer, Lemikra Ulemedrash Tzorich Levorich. You have to say Birchas HaTorah even before learning Medrash. Lemishnah Ein Tzorich Levorich. Only when you're learning Mishnayos, you do not need to say Birchas HaTorah. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, Af lemishnah nami tzorich levorich. Even when learning Mishnayos, you have to say Birchas HaTorah. Aval leTalmud in tzorich levorich. But when you're learning Gemara, you do not need to say Birchas HaTorah. Rava Omar, Rava says, and we paskin like this. This is the halacha. Af leTalmud tzorich levorich. Even before learning Gemara, you have to say Birchas HaTorah. The Omar Reb Chia bar Ashi, Zimnin skiin hava ko. Imna kamei derav lisnuya pirkin besafra de beirav. It was common that we were standing up in front of Rav in order to learn Gemara and Talmud in the base medrash of Rav. Have a makdim v'kamoshi yodei. He would wash his hands uborich and he would make the bracha, and only then umasnil on pirkin he would teach us Gemara. So you see that even before Talmud you need to say Birchas HaTorah. Continues the Gemara. Mai mevorich. What is Birchas HaTorah? We know what the brachas before Kriyas Shema Shal Shachris are. What are the brachas that we typically know as Birchas HaTorah? Omar Rav Yudam Shmuel Asher Kitchanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivonu la'asek b'divrei Torah. We thank Hashem, we praise Hashem for the opportunity of being able to be immersed in Torah learning, to engage in Torah. Rabbi Yochanan Mesayim Hachi. Rabbi Yochanan would say that bracha, and he would conclude as follows: Harev no Hashem Elokeinu, we beg Hashem that Torah should be sweet. As divrei Seiroscha b'finu in our mouths, u'afifiyos amcha beis Yisrael, and in the mouths of all of Klal Yisrael. V'nei anachnu, in order that us, v'tze'etzoinu, v'tze'etzoi amcha beis Yisrael, that all our offspring, kulonu yoidei shemecha, we should know your name. Hashem's name is only revealed in Torah and through Torah. V'oiskei Seirosecha, we should be engaged in your Torah. Baruch ato Hashem hamalamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. Rav Hamnuna Omar. Rav Hamnuna says that the Birchas HaTorah is Asher bochar bonu mikol ha'amim. This is talking about the uniqueness of Klal Yisrael. V'nosan lonu es Torosoi, the uniqueness of the Torah. Baruch ato Hashem noisin HaTorah, which is talking about Hashem. Omar Rav Hamnuna zui mu'ula shebebrachis. This bracha of Rav Hamnuna that mentions also Klal Yisrael, also the Torah, and also Hashem is the best of the brachas. The Gemara says, Hilkoch nimrinu lekulhu. Since we have three opinions what to say, there's two brachas. The first one is what Shmuel said, the second one is Rav Hamnuna, and we had Rav Yochanan that added something onto the V'harevna, onto the first bracha, and we therefore say all three. Two brachas, but three nuschos. Continues the Gemara, Tnan Hosam. We learnt in a Mishnah in Mesechus Tomid, Omar lehena memuna, the one that was appointed to tell the Kohanim what to do when in the daily morning avodah, he would say as follows: Borchu bracha achas. Say a single bracha. Ve'im borchu. They would say the bracha. Ve'koru aseres hadibros. They would then read the aseres hadibros. Shema. They would read the Shema. V'hoyim shamoya. V'yomer. Uborchu esa'om gimel brachos. And they would say three brachos to the tzibur. What are they? Emes v'yatziv, that's the bracha after Shema of Kriyas Shema Shel Shachris. V'avoida, the bracha of avoida of Shemona Esra that we know as Ritzei. U'birchas Kohanim, and the birchas Kohanim. U'b'Shabbos misifin bracha achas l'mishmar hayoytza. We know that in the Beis Hamikdash all the Kohanim were split up into 24 groups. Every Shabbos they would switch groups. So on Shabbos there would be an extra bracha that the Kohanim would say that is addressing the the Kohanim that are now leaving their week in order to make space for the next group. And the Gemara is going to discuss these one by one. My brocha achas, this one brocha that they would start when they would start davening, as we call it, what was this brocha? Ki had Reb Abba v'Reb Yosi bar Abba iklu lahu asra. Reb Abba and Reb Yosi bar Abba, they came to some place. Bo minayu, and the people of that place asked them, my brocha achas, what is this brocha achas mentioned in the Mishnah in Tolmud? Lo hava b'yodayu, they did not know the answer. V'asu shailu l'Rav Masna, they asked Rav Masna, lo hava b'yodei, didn't know the answer. Also shailuhu l'Rav Yehuda, they asked Rav Yehuda, Omaluhu hachi Omar Shmuel, he said, I'll tell you what Shmuel explained. Ava Rabba, the brocha of Ava Rabba, which is the second brocha before Kriyas Shema Shel Shachris. Reb Zrika Omer of Ami Omer of Shimon ben Lakish, Yoitzer Oyer, it wasn't the second brocha of Birchas Kriyas Shema, it was the first brocha. Ki Aser Yitzchak bar Yosef Omar Had Reb Zrika Lav Beferish Itma Elo Michlole Itma. This that Reb Zrika said in the name of Reb Shimon ben Lakish, this was not an explicit ruling that Reb Shimon ben Lakish said that brocha achas is Yoitzer Oyer. Reb Zrika, he determined it from a situation, from a comment that was made, and he came to that conclusion, but it may possibly be that the conclusion is not accurate. Says the Gemara. The Omer of Zrika, Omer of Ami, Omer of Shimon ben Lakish. What we did here in the name of Reb Shimon ben Lakish was Zois Oimeres, Brochos ein ma'akvos zu ezu. From the fact that it says Baruch Hu brocha achas, they said one of the brochas of the two brochas before Kriyas Shema. It means that the brachas are not ma'akav each other. That if you don't have them both, you're not yotzer. And so Reb Zrika understood as follows. If you say that the one bracha they made was yotzer oyer, Hava Omri, that's the bracha they said, Hainu brachas ein ma'akve zu ezu, because that would mean they only said the bracha of yotzer oyer. What happens to the bracha of Avarabba? They didn't say it at all. And nonetheless, the Kohanim were Yotzer, so you see that the brachas are not ma'akev, and even if you only have one bracha, you're Yotzer. Deloi Omri Avarabba, because they did not say Avarabba, and nonetheless they were Yotzer. Eloi Omris Avarabba, if the bracha achas is Avarabba, Hava Omri, that was the bracha the Kohanim said, my brachas ein ma'akve zu ezu. How can you learn from that Mishnah in Tolmud that you don't need both brachas? Dilma hay deloi Omri yotzer oyer, mishum deloi motos man yotzer oyer. Maybe the reason that the Mamuna told them to say the bracha of Avarabba is because it was too early in the day to say the bracha of yotzer oyer. So now they're saying Avarabba. Later on, when the sun rises, they'll say the bracha of yotzer oyer, and they'll have both brachas. V'chimotos man yotzer oyer, have Omri. They would say yotzer oyer when the time was ripe. So how can you bring a raya from that Mishnah in Tolmud that they told them to say just one bracha, that you don't need both? Maybe you say one now and one later, but you do need both. Says the Gemara, V'im echlol amai. So what? That it was deduced, Reb Zrika understood it from what Reb Shimon ben Lakish said. That Reb Shimon ben Lakish says that you have a proof from the Mishnah in Tolmud that brachas are not ma'akav and one is enough. It must be that the one bracha was Avarabba and not Yotzer. It must be that bracha was Yotzer oyer and not Avarabba. So what? So that's how he deduced it, and that's okay. Says the Gemara, no. Because if it's true that Reb Zrika did not hear Reb Shimon ben Lakish say mufurish explicitly that the bracha was Yotzer oyer, it was just this shtickle Torah that he understood it that way. La'ilam Avarabba. It could be that the one bracha was not Yotzer oyer, like Reb Zrika understood. Rather, it was the bracha of Avarabba. Hava Omri. V'chimoto zman Yotzer oyer. Hava Omrile, and indeed when the Zman was ripe, later on they would say also the bracha of Yotzer oyer. Umay brachas ein ma'akve zu ezu. You'll ask, if so, what's pshat that Reb Shimon ben Lakish said that from the Mishnah in Tolmud you see that brachas ein ma'akves and one is enough? They said both. Says the Gemara, no, he didn't mean that one bracha is enough and you don't need both. No, of course you need both. It means the order wasn't ma'akav. You can first say Avarabba, and later on, when it gets light, you can say Yotzer oyer, and that's what Reb Shimon ben Lakish said, that Seder brachis is not ma'akav. And in Mirz Hashem, in the next shir, we'll learn Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph, 8 lines from the top of the Amud.